take for a
Do
good
you need
run.
something like that? Or?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, as you said, they faced each other 6 times before, and 3 of those occasions have been 3-set matches. So I think it's one of those things where, you know, some days you just don't turn up. Some days you just don't like the conditions. What's going on here?
Main 26 and
Playing a Francis TFO.
okay,
My gut is in the main.
right. I will let them know.
23 and a half.
26, 23 and a half.
Yes, but it's like this, the master
Yeah.
string.
It's opposite.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll let them know.
Wow.
I'll let them know.
Have you seen
You
this
got it.
before?
Do you have something you
have
can
not,
work with right
no.
now? Run. Okay.
So there we go. I mean, she does
All
have.
good, all good.
So what would have happened there, by the way, just to explain this, she would have gone to a stringer, said, oh, can I have all these strung in this way? She has gut, I think, normally goes across,
It's stringing.
but instead they've done the gut,
So the black should be like
from
this.
top to
The
bottom.
gut, this needs to be like that.
And so
Same
they've done the
picture,
gut
they've flipped it.
in the wrong way,
As soon as possible.
basically. So she then wants those rackets to be restrung. Thankfully, it seems like she does have some older rackets that
Well,
were
she
strung
would've-
right, and she's had to continue, but she suddenly realised after racket, so
And that's
if a
such
string
a-
pops now, she might not have another racket in that string tension.
I mean, it's such an easy mistake to make, isn't it? She would have practiced with the rackets that she's currently using when she warmed up earlier today. So she might not have noticed, she might not have looked in her bag and just checked that, you know, everything was as it should be. Like I say, just an easy thing to overlook.
She was too busy thinking whether she should serve or return with the coin toss, clearly. But yeah, I mean, well, there you go. It looked like she took it pretty well. She was smiling, and at least she does have a racket to play with that is to her desired string tension and does have the gut strings.
Where does Iga Świątek play next? That's something I'm certainly interested in. I actually don't know. Is she playing, is it Stuttgart next? Is that Porsche tournament next? When's the next tournament she's going to play in? This is of high interest to tennis fans, kind of because the clay season is about to kick off, and we know how good and how amazing Iga plays on clay. So no tournaments won this year so far for Iga, and actually going back to a little bit into 2024. So it's been a while since she's won a WTA 1000 and a Grand Slam. May even be, she may not have won a tournament since Roland Garros last year. I don't know. Correct me on that, but it's been a while. But she's a superstar on clay. She's the queen of clay, and it would be a huge surprise if she didn't do well on clay this year. So we'll see what happens there. Where does Iga Świątek play next? Someone let me know in the comments below. Caroline Garcia, kind of a run of bad luck for her. Her last 2 tournaments, she's had to play, I think, Iga in her first match, and got slaughtered, respectfully saying, in both those matches. So I love Caroline Garcia. I love that French accent, and I think she's a really, really cool person. And I think Caroline and Iga, they seem to get along pretty well as 2 players on tour. So it's a lot of fun to see that. Wow. You know, this Miami Open, the final's about to start here in an hour or 2 against Pagula and Sabalenka. And this tournament has had everything, and I mean everything, from the rise of Alexandra getting into a wild card in this tournament, a Filipina. First time we've seen this, where a person from the Philippines is doing so well on the tour, and we hope to see a lot more of her. Hopefully she won't be kind of a one-hit wonder. Maybe she'll continue exciting us, because she definitely has a lot of swag on court. Let me just name off some random stuff that happened in this tournament. So this Caroline Garcia thing with the rackets. There was one time where Kostyuk, who's from Ukraine, by the way, she was playing a Russian, and this was in the Miami Open, 3 or 4 days ago, and she hits an underhand serve and gets an ace on match point. And even weirder, of course, the Ukrainians and Russians do not shake hands. So I kind of wish she had done that with someone she would shake hands with, just to see that handshake of an underhand serve ace on match point. Never seen that before, really ever, on the men's or women's side on match point. So that was really interesting. So many injuries in this tournament. Another something else. Badoza, Jabeur, Azarenka, Raducanu, even Alexandra as well. There have been tons of injuries, and it's been a lot of fun seeing this. You can walk by me. So it's been a roller coaster of events, and we're about an hour away from Pegula and Sabalenka, and we'll see how this turns out here. Who are you taking, the American Pegula or the Belarusian Sabalenka? It's going to be a lot of fun to see. I think Sabalenka should win this one pretty handily for a couple reasons. Number one, Sabalenka is just rocking and rolling this year, and uh, maybe because Sabalenka, her matches have been so short during this Miami Open, she's a lot more fresher. Whereas Pegula, of course, had to play I can't talk. Play a really long match against Pegula, three-setter that went almost close to 1 a.m. in the morning, and she is very human over there in Miami. I will say that Pegula is playing so well, and that is not an exaggeration. I'm not just saying that to be nice, and you know that as well. You've been watching Pegula's matches. I mean, she's playing fantastic tennis. This is her backyard. I'm rooting for Pegula to win, but I think Sabalenka, and I think most people, probably you as well, would agree that I think Sabalenka is going to win this one, but we'll see. This is the U.S. Open final rematch from last year. Another match, of course, that was played on hard court. So it's going to be really interesting. This will be probably the last hard court match on the tour for a while before we see hard court again. So it's my favorite surface, that's for sure. I'm not a huge fan of the clay, not a big fan of the grass either. So um, we'll see what happens here. So Pegula, the Buffalo Bills owner's daughter, versus Arina Sabalenka from Belarus, and we'll see what happens in this one in just a few hours. Keep it here on Best Muscle Video on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. I know you have a lot of options on where you can watch your tennis analysis. If you're watching here on Best Muscle Video, thank you so much. There is a thanks button on the bottom right of the video player. Do you see that word thanks on YouTube right there on your phone or your computer? You can click on that and send me money that way. It's super easy. It's just a few clicks. It works all around the world. Thank you so much. We're filming right now in Texas. We usually film in Dallas, but today we're in another city in Texas, and I'm here in the United States. Right now it is about 12:38 p.m. Central. So I think the Miami Open Sabalenka versus Pegula starts at 3 p.m. Eastern, so that'll be here in about an hour and 20 minutes to watch these two players kick off and complete the singles women's side. And there's some doubles too. I think tomorrow, Mira Andreeva, another superstar that I didn't even mention that. That was another thing that happened in this tournament with Andreeva injury faking thing in her match. She's made the finals of the doubles, and I think that's tomorrow. So I will leave you with that. Very interesting. We didn't even mention other players like Zhang Jinwen and Taylor Townsend, Yulia Putintseva. There's so many things going on in this Miami Open. What a treat it was. I'm sad that's ending. I wish Miami Open was like a month long or 2 months long, but it's only 2 weeks. I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much. Caroline Garcia only had one racket for a little bit during this Iga Świątek match. It was fun looking into this. I will talk to you later. Keep it here on Best Muscle Video on YouTube, and thank you so much. I love you.